They try to erase us from government websites and education systems and libraries.
This is a matter of free speech.
S.J. Jocelyn, who uses they them pronouns, was fired from their job at Yosemite National Park last week.
This is what happens when you F around and find out.
Some carry hate. We carry the largest trans pride flag to ever be flown in a national park and unfurled it on the side of El Cap to prove a point that trans is natural. The Trump administration and transphobes would love to have you believe that being trans is unnatural, but species that can transition sexes can be found on every continent and in every ocean on planet Earth. So call it a protest, call it a celebration. We are bringing elevation to liberation. They try to erase us from government websites and education systems and libraries. So we raise this flag higher than ever before so every trans person knows that they have people that love them in their corner. The people united will never be defeated.
Well, hate to break it to you, but you're getting defeated. This is actually what happens when you push and poke the bear constantly. You're gonna lose, okay? The people used to be okay with us. Why do you think that they're not? When you do idiotic stunts like this and act like you are so superior to everyone else, you will not erase us. Like literally constantly, we're coming after your kids. Like all the insane stuff you people say in the trans community is so ridiculous, and how you can't think it's going to come back on you tenfold is just narcissism at its finest. So before I move on with this little story, which is quite hilarious if you ask me, thanks so much for showing up again and helping support this channel and subscribing and getting the notification bell and all the things that you're doing to help me get these stories out there that they who will not be erased. How come I haven't been erased? That's why the trans community comes after me, because I haven't been erased. I won't be erased because I actually live in the real world, okay? And these people are so high on their horse, it's unbelievable to me. So if you don't know the story, it basically goes that this young woman who works for the Department of Parks climbed up the side of the mountain and hung the trans flag on El Capitan, and then she thought she was doing, and she used to go by she, but now all of a sudden she's non-binary, and then just hung the flag up there because they have a right to do that. Do you? Clearly you don't. Then she got fired. She got fired because she is not doing her job. Her job is to be a parks ranger, manager of the park, and make sure everything is chill there, whatever they do. But it's not hanging a trans flag with your elitist sort of dominating attitude and then shocked that you got fired. Are you effing kidding me? That's not part of your job. And then that clown with the mustache and weird outfit, like a park ranger looking like a clown, who's not a park ranger, by the way. I think they're just a drag queen or another non-binary trans queer activist. This is what happens when you do dumb activism like that. So what other flags can people climb up the side of that mountain and hang? Okay, so what if you were a park ranger who was part of the KKK? Could you climb up the mountain and hang a KKK flag and be okay with that? Because if you're going to do that, then other groups of people who I don't agree with are going to be able to do the same thing. I don't know what makes you all think that you are so above and beyond the law, especially when you work for the government. So yeah, you got fired, young lady. Okay, so now it's just so unbelievable to me. So now here is the non-binary crying about it.
This is a matter of free speech.
S.J. Jocelyn, who uses they them pronouns, was fired from their job at Yosemite National Park last week.
I had the best job in the world.
Jocelyn says park leaders told them they, quote, failed to demonstrate acceptable conduct for their role in displaying a trans flag on the famous El Capitan rock formation during one of their days off in May.
I came up with the idea back in March. Just the trans community was really hurting with all of the recent kind of persecution that we've had against us from the federal government. What better meaning of a thing as hanging a huge trans flag in the most iconic feature in the park? Like, wouldn't that just be such an amazing celebration? I wasn't worried about facing repercussions at work because LCAP has a long precedent of allowing flags to be flown. So it's really been a place where people can practice free speech.
Shortly after the flag was hung, Jocelyn learned they were the subject of a criminal investigation. But when they lawyered up and declined to be questioned, that led to a mandatory administrative interview. 2 months later, they were called into a meeting.
Acting deputy superintendent shook my hand and then fired me on the spot. I asked her if she understood that I was the only one who had been fired or reprimanded for hanging flags on LCAP, even though there have been flags hung on LCAP for decades, and I didn't get answers.
Jocelyn has been a park ranger and wildlife biologist at Yosemite since 2021, and they've been a part of the community there more broadly for 16 years.
I want to fight it with everything that I have because I just want my job back, I want my life back, and I want to continue to be a part of the Yosemite community.
It's so crazy to me how this person who's worked for the park for like 4 or 5 years should know the law. It has a history of letting flags. I bet they get some kind of, they go in, they get a clearance. I bet you. And then the flags, or those flags get taken down too. Stop skirting the whole issue and pretending like you're such a victim. Also, you're not trans. Stop talking for the trans community. You're non-binary. My community, that you're non-binary. That's not trans. Okay. Plus, you don't speak for all trans people. And also, I'm not attached to that weirdo flag, okay? So what is happening to you, trans community, is you're doing it to yourself. You've literally done it. Now you're all going to victimize yourself. Wah, I got fired. You got fired because it's not your job to climb up on a ladder and hang a flag. That was not okay to be hung there. What part of the world are we living in now? I don't get it. Like, that's the thing about growing up and understanding rules and regulations. Rules and regulations are in place for a reason, or every MFer in the world, we'd be climbing up on that mountain and hanging. It would be full of flags and full of graffiti and full of all kinds of nonsense because everyone thinks they're entitled, and freedom of speech. Okay. That's government property funded by my tax dollars and your tax dollars. And I'll bet if you took a vote, majority of people will be like, no, we don't want that up there. So get a grip and you go ahead and sue. I'm just dying to see what happens. The entitlement of you all. Why don't you just take the hit, figure it out, try to figure out how to do it right the next time, and then everything will be okay. So the next insanity I have for you all.
Well, I just wanted to jump on here and make this video real quick. I've been getting a couple messages from former students of mine who are showing up at open house and realizing that I'm not there. Unfortunately, I will not be teaching for this upcoming school year. It is now illegal for me to go by my name and pronouns at work. The people that didn't want people like me to be teachers succeeded. Leaving Leonard after 4 years as a teacher, but also 4 years as a student there. At one point in my life, I thought I was going to spend my entire career pouring into this community. And when I'm 65, 70 retiring, I could look back and kind of see the impact I had. That dream was taken away from me. My former students are watching this. I just wanted to say sorry I didn't get to say goodbye in person. But I'll never forget my time at Leonard, and I hope you have a good year.
I have the entitlement of, first off, this is a teacher who's a male to female trans person, decided they were going to I don't know what grade, but let's just say, even if it's high school, okay, but I don't think it is, was a man, presenting as a man in school as a teacher for a long time, then decided they were trans and were going to transition. Good for you. Go do that in your private space. Then thinks they're just going to walk right back into the classroom and be, instead of Mr. Smith, Mrs. Smith, and everyone's going to do the pronouns. Who do you think you people are? The entitlement. You don't get to do that. Okay, that's not your job as a teacher. No one cares about your transition or that. It's not, we're not here to kids aren't there to validate you people. What? I get so like frustrated because this new trans agenda is so pathetic and so sad to me that they need validation from kids. And then you're going on TikTok and saying bye to your kids. Don't you think that's a little bit creepy? Like, hello, boundaries. It's why you're leaving, because no one wants to see you. Okay. So also, if you really did respect those kids and respect your own self, you would have moved yourself to another school, not let anybody know that you used to be Mr. Smith and now you're Mrs. Smith, and everything probably would have been okay, to be honest with you, because nobody would have known you're just some lady who needs to get a job as a teacher and you have a great resume, maybe. And then there you are. But no, you have to use this entitlement and this idea that you can just squeeze into spaces that you're not welcome in. This is the thing I keep telling all of you. When you transition, you're not always going to get what you want, nor are you always going to be welcome in every space. And I don't know why you all think you're entitled to every single space because you're trans. Okay, I've been doing this a long time. That's not how it works, and it probably never will. Sorry, but you are going to get erased after all the work we did so that we could at least walk the world and coexist. You don't want to coexist. You want to dominate, and it's just so obvious. Every day I see more and more of it, every single day.
All right, so I just talked to NPR about gender conversion therapy because I went to gender conversion therapy. I went on purpose. I have an undercover camera. I wanted to document what was going on, and I will upload that footage in a different video. But what I was talking to NPR about, and what I think people really don't understand, is that they don't call it gender conversion therapy anymore. The other side got really smart. They rebranded, and it's now called gender exploratory therapy, which sounds great. Everyone should explore their gender identity with a therapist, I think, especially before undergoing medical transition. I did that with my own therapist 2 years ago before I got top surgery. It was great. But these therapists don't provide a safe space. They have a very specific agenda to dissuade people from getting medical transition and to delay it as much as possible. I'll go into that more, but like, if you're trans, if you have a trans friend, if you're a parent of a trans kid, make sure people know, do not go to a gender exploratory therapist. It's not real therapy.
Okay, this person is a full-on fraud journalist, okay? I've been watching this person. They went undercover into an actual real therapy, okay? And then they tried to expose the therapy as gender conversion therapy when it was just a therapist saying, are you sure? Asking the questions that every therapist should. Are you sure? Why are you in such a hurry? Let's talk about your background. What's going on in your life? All these things. And this non-binary female decides that that's called and they went in there specifically to film them, okay, and to try to expose them on NPR that this is gender conversion, like basically like gay conversion therapy. That's not what happened. That, because I know the therapist, they were just trying to slow this process down. That's why they do call it exploratory. But this person is mincing words and saying that gender affirmation therapy is what you should be doing. Gender affirmation therapy is literally conversion therapy because you only have one session with a therapist and you are deemed trans. How is that not actual gay conversion therapy or conversion therapy when the other therapist, the exploratory therapist, okay? So look at the words: affirmation, one therapy session; exploratory, many therapy sessions, because they want to make sure you're making the right point. Which one do you think is the healthiest space for a child or a person to take who is even thinking they might have gender dysphoria? Come on, I don't need to tell you which one to take. This is why these people have an agenda to transition your child at the snap of a snap. It actually, I'm exposing to you their agenda. An exploratory therapist has no desire to change somebody who has dysphoria. They want to ease you into it, which is the way it should be done, not pushed into it like this sicko journalist exposing. Like, I'm exposing you and your agenda. There should never be anything called affirmation therapy, okay? Ever. It's why we have detransitioners. It is so pathetic how these people think, now you're all getting exposed and you are getting erased, okay? Because we transsexuals are going to help erase you.
Texas has proposed a bill that would fine trans people $5,000 if they get caught going into the wrong bathroom. Under this bill, if you're a biological born male, you would have to go to the men's room. And if you're a biological born female, you would have to go to the women's bathroom. And if you get caught going into the wrong bathroom, you could get a ticket that would cost you $5,000, which seems pretty steep. What do y'all think about this? Do you agree with Texas on this or not? Let me know down in the comments.
So the bathroom bill, same thing. Of course, you guys screwed it all up. I've been using the dude's room forever. Nobody cares. Another thing you're going to erase.
The rumors are true. I'm detransitioning. After careful consideration, I realized that I no longer am transgender, so I will return to my original gender. Thank you.
So this one I wanted to bring up because watch, I'm going to show you the second video in this, okay? Because this one is very important to me to show you.
Hi. So I'm actually like very shocked at the amount of people that really believe I'm detransitioning. No, I'm not. I'm not detransitioning. Sorry if you can hear my cat in the background, but no, I'm not detransitioning. Okay, I'm not. I really don't get why like people like actually believed it. Like I really thought it really like came across as me being sarcastic. That's what it was. I was being sarcastic about detransitioning. So I'm not detransitioning, you guys. I'm so sorry to break it to you. I also feel like this is a good point, like a good like segue to give my opinion, my 2 cents on like detransitioning and like being a trans kid. I'm not a kid anymore, but you know, I can talk about it because I was at one point. But basically, like, everybody has the right to share their experience and everybody has the right to make whatever decision is best for them. But I have an issue when people that, and I'm not saying that you have to like transition for like, I'm not saying there's like a good reason to transition, but it really like bugs me when like people who likely were never trans to begin with are platforming on behalf of our community and like stating like things that are completely untrue. And again, this is not me having an issue with people who choose to detransition. This is me having a problem when people who detransition create this like platform and career off of just being like, yeah, so I was like on both sides, and because I was trans at one point but now I'm cured, I can tell you that like I was brainwashed and that I was mutilated. So it's really shocking to see the amount of people that are commenting. I mean, most people were like nice about it. Like people were saying like, do what's best for you, like you do you. But then there were like people saying like, thank God you found Jesus. You know, which I really like, the sarcasm like really flew over like a lot of people's head. But it bugs me because it's like an actual, it like shows that like these people that are legit like they're right-wing grifters creating this like narrative about being trans that's not true.
Wow. So I wanted to show you that because this is a transitioned young boy to become a girl and now is an adult. So I'm not going to blur their face because they are an adult. And they made fun of a detransitioning, okay, which always blows my mind. Then goes on to talk about, I don't care, everyone can have their opinion, but what they're saying is not true. It's their story. How is it not true, young person? How is it not true? Shame on you. Yet this is a young person. Let's just say they're 18 years old. How dare you? Okay. If it worked out for you, everyone's super cool with it. But when it doesn't work out for somebody else, you call them right wing. Every language it's all the cult language being put into these young people's brain. And what did I show you before that? I showed you the affirmation therapy model, which this kid went through, an affirmation model. And now there's no such thing as detrans. You were never trans in the first place. According to the therapist who affirmed this kid, you said they were. I can show you all the bullshit this community is doing. Yet when they make the mistake of transitioning these young people and then they become detransitioners, oh, they were never trans in the first place. Oh, it's their own fault. Oh, it's right-wing grifting BS. You people are so full of it and you're taking yourself out. No one else is doing it but you. You are spewing lies, hate. You are so mean to kids or people who detransition. It's mind-blowing to me how you expect to get respect, but you turn around and punch anyone in the face who left your little cult-like space, okay? So I am going to continue to expose the insanity of all of you people who think you are so high and mighty. I can't even believe this kid. I am just disgusted by the fact that this person can sit on there and say the things they're saying and then expect that everyone's going to be okay with trans people. You know, I'm shocked. I will be not shocked if this person detransitions in the next couple years.
A trans woman's not a woman. If I say I'm a transsexual woman, which is defining, I'm telling you, I'm a man. You can't just wake up one day and dye your hair blue and get a couple of piercings and say you're trans. That I find offensive. Trans isn't real.
That is coming from a true, real transsexual male to female who knows it's Samantha. And if you got to see the difference between the older generation of transsexuals and this new trans ideology BS. And why would her and I be against transitioning when it worked for us? Why would we be against transitioning children? Why would we be against the trans agenda? Because we can see that it is hurting people. It is not helping them the way it helped her and I move forward in the world. And we never not acknowledge our biology. I'm still a female. Samantha is still a male, period. And it's why we get respect from the world. You all trans-identified weirdos are going down, okay? And if I need to help, Samantha needs to help, Tori needs to help, Blair, we all are over it. We don't want to be attached to you, and we're disgusted at the way you are doing this to children and actually indoctrinating them into this weird process. I'm going to leave you all with this, because this is how I feel.
All right, y'all, we're going to do something fun, okay? I'm going to feed this to my pigs. We'll just see what it looks like when they devoured this watermelon. Somebody's a little bit moody. You are one impatient pig.
And you know, that's how I feel. It's so good. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Thanks for raising my voice to the world so that we can get back to some kind of sense of reality when it comes to transsexuals. We're never going to go away, okay? But you for sure are going to erase the trans ideological nonsense with the help of the transsexuals. With that, have a great rest of your day, okay? And I'll see you guys all on the next one.